Okay, our last question says to interpret each of the following effects on the function f of x. So, for example, f of x plus 2 indicates that we're basically increasing the input by 2, right? The input to the function gets kicked up by 2 units, and then we evaluate that. So, remember what this means, right? If this is our function f of x, this is the input, right? X is the input. And once we evaluate this function, this whole symbol represents the output from the function. So I could do things to the output. Like, for example, if I want to say I'm going to add 5 to the output, I could say f of x plus 10. So basically this says you put x into the function, evaluate it, and once you're done, tack 10 units onto it. So you're just increasing the output by 10 units. And this is a little different. I could say, hey, you've got an input, increase the input by 10 first, then put that number into the function and evaluate it. So, we can either manipulate the output or we can manipulate what's going into the function first. So there's 3 examples here. And this first one, if you look at it, if w is the input, what we're saying is we're going to input 6 times w into the function. So this right here is, I'll write it this way, I'll say this is the output that results from multiplying w by 6 first. So we're multiplying w by 6, and then that gets what goes into the function. And if I was to look at an actual function f for that one, let's say that I had f of, x was 3x plus 5. And let's say that I was intending to put something into it like the number 2. Well, what this function is saying is, like, don't put the number 2 into it. We want you to multiply that input value by 6 and then put it in. So if I was just putting in the straight 2, right, that would give me 6 plus 5. The output would be 11. But this says, hey, multiply by 2, so that gives me 12. And then it becomes 3 times that 12, which is 36, plus 5 is 41. So that's the effect that it has on it. Okay, so let's look at the next one. This next one's pretty straightforward. The function's name is g, and our input is h. And this says basically decrease the input by 2, and then evaluate the function, right? So decrease the input by 2, and then evaluate. So what we're looking at here is the output that results after we decrease our input by 2. And this last one says, look, you're not going to manipulate a at all. Your input's just going to go straight in. But after you get your input into the function, right, you're going to evaluate your function with that value of a. And then once you know what that is, this says multiply your output by 4 and then add 10. So we just stick in an a, and then we multiply the output by 4. And then increase by 10. So if I was looking at this function below, let's go back down to this example. So let's say that this function is now f of a, but I'm using x, so we'll say it's f of x. So it says put a number into it, so I'm going to put in the number 3. Okay. When I put 3 into that function, it becomes 3 times 3 is 9, plus 5 is 14. So basically, this output right here is 14. So the number is 14. And then it says take that output, multiply it by 4, and then add 10. So if I look at it, that f of x represents 14 when x is 3. then it says multiply that by 4 and then add 10 to that result. So 14 times 4 and then plus 10.